I can't help commenting on that fitness guru segment with John Fashanu there putting our producer Nikki Butler through her paces. Now to entertainment news, and Maggie Rogers' success continues to gather momentum after a video went viral of her meeting Pharrell at school. Since Pharrell's visit to Rogers' school, the video of their encounter has been watched 2.5 million times on YouTube. The singer-songwriter has won rave reviews from around the world for her new album, Now That the Light is Fading. Rogers was studying songwriting and production in New York last March when the star dropped into class to give her some tips. Not that she actually needed them, but there we are. Arnold Schwarzenegger has quit the new Celebrity Apprentice, blaming US President Donald Trump for the television reality show's recent poor performance. The former California governor said he wouldn't mind working on a show that doesn't have this baggage, unquote. Schwarzenegger replaced the president as host of the show, but Trump remained as an executive producer. He has since taunted Schwarzenegger for the show's drop in ratings, even mocking him during an address at the National Prayer Breakfast. The show, which wrapped up its 15th season last month, averaged fewer than 5 million viewers per episode. Now, an evangelist preacher is calling for a boycott of the upcoming Walt Disney film Beauty and the Beast because it features a gay character. The preacher says that the company is trying to promote an LGBT agenda to children. The film is released in the United States on March the 17th, and stars were out in Hollywood yesterday to promote the live-action remake of Disney's 1991 animated film. The cast includes Emma Watson, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, and Ewan McGregor. Now, a postcard from the heart of literary Nigeria. Perhaps I should appropriately say an anthology of children's African folk tales. It's a series of children's stories that include the lion and the monkey, the spider and the drummers, as well as music scores of the songs in the stories, all of them grounded in the traditions and culture of Africans. The book roams through themes such as hard work, truthfulness and responsibility, chronicling life as seen through the escapades of animals, the ferocious and greedy lion breaking his promise to the monkey who rescued it from imminent death, the lazy and manipulative spider who deceives his friends. With Nigeria often hitting the news for all the wrong reasons, this is a refreshing take on the country's rich cultural heritage and traditional values of truth, hard work and self-realization. Well, the man who compiled and edited that anthology, Ikogu Oke, is with me in the studio. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. So the book is set in Africa, presumably given the language of the songs in southern Nigeria. What inspired you to do it?
Well, some time ago I moved to an area of Abuja that was new, and enrolled my daughter in a school, and then she invited me to her book day. And then at the end of the event, she asked me to buy her books, and then took me to a string of tables which people displayed books for sale. So I did buy her books. And then while doing that, I realized that one of the books on display was written by Nigerian or an African, or was about Africa.
So they were mostly foreign books,
They were
basically.
all mostly foreign books. So I asked the book dealers why it had to be so, and they said to me that parents didn't buy Nigerian books if they were stocked by them. And I asked them why, and they said, well, that they didn't find them either as good or as attractive.
Right. The quality wasn't good enough, basically.
Quality and content. And I said, no, that couldn't be true, because I'm aware that we have African folk tales and some of the best children's stories there could be. So I thought something needed to be done about it. So there and then I conceived the idea of publishing, this series to.
Right. So that led you to this.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. I mean, why did you want to capture the magical world of animals? I mean, does that traditional cultural Nigeria deserve to be written about?
Yes, I think so, because that helps us preserve the stories in the original state one, but also it also helps us in a way, to connect in a way to the modern world while retaining the traditional flavor of the stories. We don't want to lose that, you know, because stories are being modified and being adapted to all kinds of, you know, situations. But we think that in this series we should retain the essential traditional nature of the stories.
So what lengths of research did you have to go to not only get the details to be authentic and right, but also to kind of cut them down? Because there's so many of these folk tales. I mean, why did you choose the ones you chose?
Well, you know, what has happened is that we were looking for stories that is really moral, you know, whose you know, moral inclination is not in doubt.
Right.
You know, that's both African and universal. You know, that will appeal to Africans, but appeal to people wherever they may come from. You know, and also has entertainment value that are edifying, that are educative. You know, these are the qualities we're looking for in these stories. While most of the stories have these qualities, but there are some that have them more than the others.
Right.
But then we are adapting them. You know, we're creating music scores. We're creating, you know, original music to go with the stories. Music that are, you know, created to reflect, you know, certain content of the stories. You know, making them original. You know, and making them formal in such a way that wherever you may come from, if you have, you know, musical training, you can actually knock them out on musical instruments, the piano, the organ.
Yes, I noticed that you had quite a bit of music there. Sort of, what's great about this is that they are original children's stories told so the rest of the world can share them with its primary African audience. Presumably, this book will travel beyond the shores of Nigeria.
That is what we hope, actually, because, you know, not only are our stories, you know, not being read even amongst us. You can imagine what's happening outside here if we don't have stories read in Nigeria, or in Africa. So I'm hoping, of course, to have the stories read here, but also to show to the world that yes, the paucity of stories isn't because they are not there or that they lack authenticity or quality. So we're trying to ensure that the stories are read here primarily, but also read around the world, so that the world doesn't lose the important heritage. You know, that is African.
Right. Let's move beyond the specifics of your book. What's the current state of literary Nigeria? I mean, we know of the likes of Ben Okri, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, etc., but are they the exception rather than the rule in Nigeria?
Well, I think in a sense they are the exception, I have to say, quite frankly. The fact is that, Nigerian literature has suffered a lot of reverses. Well, due to, the decline of reading culture, due to difficulties of publishing, you know, publishing quality books. Well, I think one of the things the brain drain has done is to, you know, move expertise out of this space in such a way that people who would have helped grow the culture of literacy are no longer easily accessible for the local market, if you like. You know, so that's quite a problem. Well, if they are where they are and outside this space, it's only natural that they might access opportunities there and become better than they might have been here. But it's generally our loss.
Right.
Yeah,
can Nigeria ever attain the literary heights reached by the likes of Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, and all the rest of them, Flora Nwapa, J.P. Clark, Cyprian Akwensi?
No, I'm an optimist, and I think it can. You know, what usually happens is that talent breaks, barriers, usually. I mean, literature is driven largely by individual genius. Shakespeare is an institution, so is Achebe, so is Soyinka. You don't create such things usually because you have some environment. It could help, but if you don't have that inherent capacity to create great literature, you won't be able to, no matter the kind of incentives you're given. So it's about talent. So if we have the talents and they have the opportunities, I'm sure we can, it's like the Iroko tree, as Achebe would put in that great metaphor, in that one of his metaphors. He doesn't decide why it grows. So if Providence plants Iroko trees all over Africa, then they could grow into mighty literary, institutions as individuals.
Well, I have to say that over the last few years, we at Arise News like to think that we've had a role in identifying our fair share of African success stories, and I like to think that this anthology of children's African folk tales will definitely be one such sighting. Ikogu, okay, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
You're with Arise News in Abuja, Nigeria. It's coming up to the top of the hour this Saturday morning. Let's remind you of our headlines here on Thisday Live. The plot thickens. A North Korean official says his detention as a murder suspect was a conspiracy against the state. Accused of hypocrisy, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence is under fire after it's revealed he used a private email for official business. And economic woes, a slump in oil prices continues to batter Nigeria. You've been watching This Day Live from Nigeria with me, Charles Onyekulu. That's about all we have time for on this edition, but do keep it here on Arise News. You can follow us on our social media channels, including Instagram, Arise News Network, and of course, Snapchat, YouTube, and Twitter at Arise TV. But for now, from the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye, and thank you for watching.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.